Some weapons demand patience, others brute force. But this is for those who want it all. A shield that stands unbreakable, a sword that carves destiny. And when the time is right, you unleash devastation. What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going over one of the most technical and complicated weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds. Although this is a complicated weapon, I fell in love with it off the rip. Between this and Switch Axe, they're my main two. And because of that, I felt it was only right to show you guys how to use it and how to use it effectively. That being said, let's get into today's video. Let me break this down for you into a couple simple parts. To start, sword mode, sword and shield mode. You've got your normal combo strings. Just a bunch of left click. If you were paying attention, you saw the files in the top left start glowing yellow. Well, the thing is those continue to go. The way you charge those files is by doing combos in sword mode. So we're just going to keep doing this. We're up to red, which is level 2. And now, you guys see how it is flashing red? Well, your sword is also flashing red now. So what happens is, you bounce off targets. What you want to do, when you have your files build to yellow or red, not flashing red, is you want to charge. The way you charge is simple. You hit guard, and then for me, it's right click. That's it. Okay. So, left click, roundhouse, charge, hold the charge. Element boost. There is another way to do it. That one is from previous games. The thing about it, though, is that you don't need to do it. This one allows you to get into a faster position. Once you end up getting some of the more nuances, some of the crazier stuff, that's when I recommend you learn it. But for now, stick to the element charge up. It's easier. If you really want to do it, you can... Look, I'm done. All you have to do is move into element boost. That's it. You don't need a combo. You don't need anything. You literally just need to guard and element boost. Now that your shield is charged, you can charge your sword. The way charging your sword works is you have to have a shield charge. Once your shield is charged, you can move into sword. The benefits of charging your shield are as follows. You get extra defense when you're guarding. It's essentially like giving you guard up. You take less damage, and your axe mode, when transitioned into that, does even more damage. It also unlocks the ability to go into sword mode. Charging into sword mode yields you the benefits of you have additional file attacks whenever you do use sword swings in your sword and shield mode, as well as it provides extra stun value because all of your files start to detonate as effects in sword mode. So for me, I am using a paralysis impact file chrono gear, which means when I charge my sword, it is going to apply paralysis file attacks, as well as it's an impact file, so it's going to provide extra KO damage. So the way you charge your sword is as follows. You get into the charge animation, and then you hit left click instead. And you will do a condensed element slash. My sword is now glowing. And then now if I walk over here, you can see additional effects and additional damage numbers because my shield and my sword are now charged. Guys, we're about halfway through breaking down the basics of Charge Blade. I know it's a lot, but bear with me. You guys are doing great, all right? Next up, Axe Mode. Axe Mode has 2 different forms. Basic Axe Mode, where it is not charged whatsoever. You can tell it's not charged because, unlike my shield, it is not glowing. So all of these modes, this is just doing extra damage. That's it. Okay? You don't want to do this. Moving into Axe Mode without it being charged is detrimental to whatever it is that you're trying to do. So, you have 2 different ways that you can move into what everybody calls Savage Axe Mode. Now, I know it sounds sick. and it's actually very easy to get into. Option 1, a perfect guard. Oh, I'm not close enough. There we go. Savage Axe Slash. You see how my shield and my axe are glowing now? Because I hit a perfect guard and I immediately left clicked using the Savage Axe Slash, I went into Savage Axe mode. The thing about Savage Axe mode is it's crazy. You sit here doing just ridiculous amounts of damage. Just like that. Now, the second way to hop into Savage Axe mode is as follows. You can see my shield is already charged, which is great. Want your shield charged to go into Savage Axe mode. It's going to just provide additional damage. So always make sure your shield is charged. In fact, that needs to be your #1 priority. But the second way to get into Savage Axe mode is by destroying wounds. What I like to do is I like to have files attached and already charged up before I move into Savage Axe mode. The reason for that is because Savage Axe mode is kind of like Longsword. You have regular attacks and you have your Spirit Blade attacks. For Savage Axe mode, you have regular attacks using left click, and using right click, you have file-based elemental attacks. So let's go into Savage Axe mode and I'm going to show you guys that. So, break a wound. Boom. Now, like I was saying, left click. And it's a lot of vertical slashes. But if we transition into right clicks, you can see they're called something different now. Elemental Discharge. What's that? Amped Elemental Discharge? Follow-up? And a super amped Elemental Discharge? I'm fully aware that that was a lot of information, but I want you to take a look at how much damage I have right now. 4,500 on a test dummy in the span of about 30 seconds. So, I'm going to break this down for you guys as easily as I can. When you are in Axe mode, you cannot charge your files, which means you always have to default back to Sword and Shield mode to move back into Savage Axe. Now that we're in Savage Axe, you've got one of two options. You can do my playstyle, or you can do a Savage Axe playstyle. For me, I spend about 70% of my time in Savage Axe. Now you're probably asking, Sniper, if your playstyle is different than Savage Axe and you spend 70% of the time in it, what is yours? I'll get to it. I promise. Savage Axe itself, though, is as follows. You charge up, and all you do is Savage Axe combos, alternating between your left and your right clicks, never going past Elemental Discharge 2. So I hit 2 right clicks, and now I transition into left clicks. Left click, right click. Right click again. I'm at Elemental Discharge 2. Back to left clicks. Now, the other... Since you've seen the Savage Axe only playstyle, I'm going to show you mine. Mine is I am in Savage Axe mode until the monster hits the ground. What I mean by that is I will sit here and do any variation of the Savage Axe attacks only until, because I have a paralysis weapon and its impact files, I get a stun from the impact files, or I para it, and then I follow it up with Amped Elemental Discharge by right click, a follow-up, another right click, and by hitting left and right at the same time for a super Amped Elemental Discharge. That is the playstyle that I do, and that is because I come from previous games where I used SAED spam or AED spam. Amped Elemental. Okay. Now we're going to talk AED, Amped Elemental Discharge, and SAED, Super Amped Elemental Discharge. First up, you're going to Morph Slash. You're going to need to be in Axe mode. Savage Axe, it doesn't matter. You just need to be in Axe mode. So the way this is going to work is every one of these Amped Elemental Discharge attacks, AED attacks, or SAED attacks, are going to take files. So, we're going to show that. Left, right. Right. and then super amped elemental discharge. You see the little explosions that popped up over here and how I don't have any files anymore? Well, the way these work is that these use all of the files that you've accumulated. AED, when you have files, but your axe isn't charged, is going to do 1 file per attack. But when your axe is charged, it only takes 1. Half of 1, my apologies. Like that. I know it was a lot. Let me break it down into a smaller portion for you, okay? A summary, if you will. Sword and shield mode. Charge files, charge shield. Once files are charged and your shield is charged, if you are staying in sword and shield mode for the extra mobility, charge your sword. If you are moving into savage axe mode, make sure you break a wound or get a perfect guard. Once you have everything charged as you want for the playstyle that you were going to have, make sure you keep file uptime. File uptime happens by using sword and shield attacks. Okay? Powering files leads to more damage in savage axe mode, as well as doing AED and SAED. So, to recap, start in sword mode, build up files safely. Charge your shield when files are full to improve your guarding and explosion damage. Then, at the right time, unleash axe mode. Find your big openings and let that SAED rip. Until then, play it a little safer with savage axe mode. Alright, next up, let's get into guard points. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to charge my files. And then I'm going to walk over here. My files are now charged, which means I need to charge my shield. Boom, shield is charged. Did you happen to catch that? You see how my shield is red right now? If you're paying attention, you saw it flash white. You're probably wondering, Sniper, what did that do? Why is it going white? Well, when the shield is in front of you, actively, that was an interesting question. When the shield is in front of you actively, in the middle of morph transition attacks, your shield glows white. At least this one does, the Ardian one does. What that means is you are actively fighting a guard point. Let me break this down and show you. So a perfect guard is that. The whole screen flashed for a second. There was sparks the whole bit. But that's it. Okay? You can even see it in the top left, right below Charge Blade Sword Mode, perfect guard. Okay? But if you notice, when I hit that, my shield doesn't glow. See? It's just red. Nothing changes. But if I were to guard point, I return damage just like you do with perfect guards. I failed that one. My bad. It is in the middle of my transition, my morph slash, that guard points happen. And this works most notably with the initial morph slash thing, doing these guard points. It is the bread and butter and the advanced mechanics that make the Charge Blade as good as it is. It is advanced, and for that, I would say don't push it. Start out getting used to perfect guarding before you try to include. The main two that I use, because I'm not going to go over the whole combo string ones, there's no point. If you guys are watching this video, you're trying to learn Charge Blade. And I do not want to overload you with crazy advanced information about a combo string where you have to do 7 different attacks prior just to get 1 guard point. The two that I use very consistently are as follows. Just a transition morph slash. You can see it glowed white. And the other morph slash. You can see it glowed white. Let me show that again in a different POV. White. White. Okay? That's all you guys got to remember. Your transitional morph slashes. Those are going to be the fastest and best guard points that you guys can hit. The playstyle and strategy for Charge Blade is as follows. After a while, you guys will start to learn when to use Savage Axe, super amped elemental discharge, or even just amped elemental discharge.
The breakdown that I use for it and what I'm thinking on the fly is I use SAED for massive openings. It's high risk, high reward. What I mean by that is if a monster is paralyzed, if a monster is toppled, if a monster is caught in a trap, anything that allows me to do the attack with very little downside, like being knocked out of it or missing entirely. Thanks to focus mode though, it's definitely a lot easier to hit. When I use Savage Axe is when a monster is faster than normal, or I don't have as big of an opening. So faster monsters, something like Ebony Odegaron, is a fantastic example of someone that I don't use SAED or AED on a whole lot because of how fast it is in comparison to, say, something like Doshiguma. That being said, once you guys have played with it a little bit, once you guys have figured it out, it'll make a lot more sense. The big thing really is guard points. Guard points are what make the weapon so advanced. But that's not to say it's impossible. This weapon, although very technical, once you get the combo strings down, is so powerful. And I seriously enjoy it, and I hope you guys do too. With a charge blade in your hands, you're no longer just a hunter. You're a force of nature, ready to carve your destiny into the very fabric of this world. Every strike you land echoes with the power of legends. Every block you make is a testament to the strength you hold inside. This weapon isn't for the faint-hearted. It's for those who stand tall in the face of overwhelming odds, and those who charge forward when others would falter. Master it, and you'll forge a legacy that will never be forgotten. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell.